My people, welcome to MedSnips. My name is Dominic, and I'll be your host of this episode. On this episode, we'll be talking about the humerus. They say I'm a funny guy, right? But no, no jokes today. Now, the humerus is a long bone in the body and connects your shoulder to your elbow. This bone is so important, you'll find it throughout your medical school career. It's going to appear while studying the locomotor system. It's going to appear in your orthopedics rotation. And who knows, it's even going to appear in your final MBBS exams. Now let's take a look at the parts of the humerus. To orient you, this humerus is the right humerus. This image is anterior of the front of the bone, and this image is the posterior or the back of the bone. The topmost part is called the head. That's the part that actually connects to the frame of the body via the glenoid fossa of the scapula. But that's talk for another day. On any body, what comes after the head? The neck, of course. But the humerus is special. It has two necks. It has an anatomical neck that lies just below the head, and it has a surgical neck. This is called surgical because it is the location of many fractures that require surgery. We're going to place a red pin on the lesser tuberosity and a yellow pin on the greater tuberosity. This is also called a nodule because it's a rounded projection of bone. What's interesting is that this is where 3 of the 4 rotator cuff muscles attach. Question time. What are the muscles of the rotator cuff group? Easy. The 4 rotator cuff muscles can be remembered using the mnemonic SITS, S-I-T-S. Supraspinatus, infraspinatus, teres minor, and subscapularis. And these muscles have a role in almost every movement of the shoulder. Next, we have the intertubercular sulcus, also called the bicipital groove, between the lesser and greater tuberosities. This lodges the long tendon of the biceps brachii muscle. It also has a medial and lateral lip. The pectoralis major attaches to the lateral lip of the intertubercular sulcus, and the latissimus dorsi muscle attaches to the floor of the intertubercular sulcus. The teres major muscle attaches to the medial lip of the intertubercular sulcus. Here we have the shaft, which is a long cylinder-like section of bone with a rough surface. One of the most commonly quizzed points on exams is this point called the deltoid tuberosity. This is the point of attachment on the side of the shaft for the deltoid muscle. Many intramuscular injections, such as vaccines, are given in the deltoid muscle. Next, we have a shallow depression called the radial groove on the posterior aspect of the shaft. This groove runs parallel to the deltoid tuberosity. In this groove runs the profunda brachii artery and radial nerve. The radial nerve is tightly bound to the radial groove, and therefore fractures to the shaft of the humerus often damage this nerve. Damage to the radial nerve causes a weakening of the triceps muscle, an inability to extend at the wrist, a disorder known as wrist drop, and sensory loss to the dorsal surface of the lateral 3½ digits and dorsum of hand. Going down, we have the medial and lateral epicondyles and the medial and lateral supracondylar ridges. The ulnar nerve runs behind the medial epicondyle, and bumping the nerve causes pain and tingling, also referred to as hitting the funny bone. This is the trochlea that attaches to the ulnar bone, and beside it is the capitulum that attaches to the radius bone. Looking very closely, we have three impressions at the end of the humerus: the coronoid fossa, the radial fossa, and the olecranon fossa. These house the forearm bones when the elbow is bent. Well, that's all for today. Enjoyed this overview? Join our sessions and let us help you to discover the pearls of medicine.